Hello there, Overclockers. Welcome. I'm Danny, and I'm joined today with a very special guest from Phanteks. Boon, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good
How
stuff.
are you?
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Bit cold in here, but I should be used to it by now. So, Boon, can you tell me what you do at Phanteks?
Yeah, I'm a senior product manager here at Phanteks, and I'm also the lead designer. So I've been working on all the case designs since the beginning.
Awesome. So is that literally from the ground up? You start at the base level of design?
Yeah, we start on the sketching table until working on 3D CADs and communicating that to the engineers from the factory.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff, good stuff. So, Boon, if you could tell me a little bit about Phanteks, where the name comes from, and a little bit of history about the company.
All right. Yeah. So in the beginning, we were looking for a new brand name because we were creating this new CPU cooler, and the name actually originated from two words, which is fan and technology. And when we put that together, it was Phanteks, and we like the sound of it. So that's where it actually came from, and it actually stands for thermal solutions. So
Oh, really?
that's our the idea behind it.
Oh, that's a good mashup of words that just ended up being quite something that just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
So how about Phanteks as a company? How long have you guys been around in the scene for?
I think we started around 2011. 2011 when we started doing the CPU cooler. I joined around 2013, and that's when we did our first case actually. So
Oh, cool. What was the first case you worked on?
the Enfield Primo.
Oh, the Primo.
Yeah.
Nice. So what size was that? And
It was a pretty big case. It was a EATX case that could
Oh.
house two power supplies, massive
Jeez.
water cooling. So
a full-on beast then.
yeah.
Nice. And how was it working on your first project? Was it a bit of a learning curve for you, or did you just jump straight into that?
We jumped straight into it,
Nice.
full research, and it was important that we understand the user group a lot, and so we spent a lot of time on the forums and investigating and researching what's needed at the time, because at the time there weren't so many water cooling cases. For a lot of users, it was difficult to do any water cooling without having to mod, and that's kind of the idea behind it. Where we started our first project, we pre-built a lot of water cooling features into it that makes it easier for users, so they don't need to do any modding, and they can just build water cooling out of the box.
Nice. So the idea was just based off your research to make the biggest case possible, just so it's a lot easier to.
Well, not only biggest, because what was more important, it was flexible enough. So,
got you.
so not going in size, but more in smart modules, and so people can switch around between different features and functions.
Cool.
Yep.
Nice, nice. On all the cases that you've worked on, so what's been your favourite feature of a Phanteks case that you've encountered?
I think that's a difficult one because there are actually a lot of features that we introduced and which I like. But I think the one that I'm most proud of is the features that makes it easier for our end users to build those very clean builds. Because, for instance, our first case, the Enfield Primo, already had the partitioned PSU shroud that covered all the cables, so it makes it much more easier to get a clean build. Even the small things like the Velcro ties and cover plates that aids people in creating a very clean build. So every time I see a build picture from users, which is like very nice, clean interior, that makes me proud. Yeah.
So you could be the one who's just like, I helped to make that dream happen.
Yeah.
Just the tidiness dream. As I always struggle with cable management myself, so I'm glad that you've got a back there at Phanteks.
Yeah, it's still an important focus. Even right now with all our new projects, it's still a major focus on getting people, helping people making this very clean interior without having to put in too much effort.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, have you noticed any trends within the industry when it comes to cases? So we've had this resurgence in the tempered glass side panels, which seems to be a bit of a trend at the moment.
Yep.
RGB, obviously, you can't run away from that.
Nope.
Is there any general trends at the moment that you're quite interested in?
Well, first of all, RGB is going to change to digital RGB, I think, because
Nice.
they also call it addressable, so that makes it easier for, well, not easier, I mean, it makes it possible to control every single RGB LED, so you can get different patterns and better effects. So
Cool.
that's kind of a transition where I think the market's going to. But then if we're talking about the rest of case design, I think cases are getting smaller, more compact. So even for the big cases, EATX motherboards, cases will be a little bit smaller because optical drives are getting less and less, even the 3.5-inch hard drives.
Rest in peace, optical drive. We hardly knew you.
Yeah. So for instance, this one, our P300 is a case that's an example of that, where we can shrink the case to its most efficient form for putting in everything you need. So your motherboard, even the AIO radiator, and these amount of drives is for storage.
I was going to say, as soon as I saw that the P300 come in, I was like, isn't that an M80X case? But no, it's a full fat sized M80X case. Yeah, no. So smaller is better. Oh, yeah. I kind of like the last few builds that I did were ITX focused, so the smaller the better. I just like having like a really super powered, nice little box. So yeah, I'm glad that Phanteks are going in that direction.
Yeah. I think another one would be the airflow. I think users are really focused on this, and I think manufacturers will also try their best to implement good airflow for even cases that looks clean from the outside without mesh, for instance. And I think it's interesting to see different materials as well. Some brands have been experimenting with that, and I think this year we can see some more developments in making use of different materials.
Oh, cool.
So besides glass, metal or aluminum, there are still a lot of different materials we can see how we can implement it and adding value. Yeah.
Like to see a dragon scale one.
Oh wow.
So Boon, the Evol ATX glass case, there's been quite a bit of a few rumblings with the airflow management within the case itself. Is there any attempts to address that, or anything that they can do aftermarket to kind of address the issue?
Well, actually we just started the production run for this new Flow edition, which was a collaboration with one of our partners, Case King. And this case had those extra cutouts using CNC machinery that creates more airflow for the front and the top. We listen a lot to our customer feedback. It's one of the most important things what we look at whenever we decide to do what we're going to do next. So with all new projects, we challenge ourselves in creating better and better product each time. So I can only say we are working on some new projects right now, so that might have to do with what you were asking about.
Cool. So Boon, this is going to be quite a hard question because this will be like picking your favourite child. So what has been your favourite case that you've worked on so far at Phanteks?
Yeah, it's a kind of difficult question because I like them all.
Of course.
Yeah, if I have to choose one based on design, I would say the Evolve. Because I think that's one of the case design that has very strong lines that really defines its character, which you can recognize from far away. And yeah, I like the industrial look and yet the very simplistic and clean design. And it's not a coincidence that we've been expanding this series for the past few years.
Nice. So is that kind of like a signature of your case design and your kind of philosophy on cases? Strong lines, clean, industrial looking?
Well, it's for that line. It defines that line because we've got the Eclipse series, we've got the Evolve and the N2. So those are different directions that we're working with.
There's been the recent announcements of your Revolt power supplies coming out in the near future. Are there any other sectors or bits within the case component industry that you were looking to get involved in?
Well, we've been expanding a lot in different product categories for the past few years. We jumped into cases, then we've got water cooling and now power supplies. So for the coming time, I think we'll be taking a step back, and we'll be reviewing, refreshing, and reinforcing our current portfolio.
You've come here today to talk about Phanteks past, Phanteks present. What is next for Phanteks future?
Right. So we actually showed some of that during our last show at CES, like a while ago. So if you haven't seen that, check out our Facebook pages. We showed some of the result that we showed. One of that was the Revolt power supplies. So very cool looking power supplies with unique features. New colors for the P300, this is one of them. We have a brand new case design, which is the P350X, which is also in the Eclipse series. So that one's very good. And actually we still have a lot more, but I cannot say too much about it right now.
Cool, cool. We'll have to keep an eye out and see what loveliness that you've got to bring in the future.
Yep.
Awesome. So last but not least, Boon, do you play many games yourself?
Well, I haven't been playing for a while now. Not as much as I want to actually, since I started getting very busy with a lot of Phanteks projects.
Understandable.
So, but I tried PUBG just a short while ago actually, and I find it very enjoyable. So.
Nice. What position did you get?
Well, I only played for 3-4 games, so.
You didn't get then, did you?
But I think I will try to make time to play this game.
There we go. We'll get that chicken dinner and #1 finish eventually. Yeah, sorry, just one last question.
Yeah.
A bit of an interest in myself. So, given that you're product manager for Phanteks cases, do you do any custom builds yourself in your spare time, or do your career in cases kind of just like no more cases, no custom builds?
Yeah, we're kind of always working with cases all the time. So I think I'm working more with cases during work than in my own time, because even for case design, it's important that you build it yourself, so you know what kind of problems a builder would tackle.
Of course, that makes a lot of sense.
So yeah, but nothing too much too custom, but sometimes we try out some different stuff. So in that sense, yeah, we do a lot of builds.
Awesome. Boon, pleasure. Thank you for coming down.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys next time.